We are going to discuss about the important topic in adult psychology. The stress and stress management is very crucial in our day-to-day life, even when we working in our working environment as well. So, what is a stress? So that's a important topic, and that is the thing we should think first. Stress can be defined as the adverse psychological and that occur in an individual. So it is a kind of adverse psychological character. It is occurs in individually, and as a result of she or he being unable to cope up with the demands. So, stress is a dynamic in which an individual is confronted with the problem, unable to either solve or cope with it. So, stress is a psychological and physical reaction to certain event or situation in anymore. So, stress is not a good, good feelings or the good emotions. It's adverse psychological happening the individual manner. So there are two reasons for two causes for the stress. So one thing is external causes, the family problems, working environment, economy, school, major life changes, and unforeseen events. Those things, these days we are seeing that Sri Lanka is facing a very key economic collapse, economic problem in its history. I think this is the biggest economic collapse in Sri Lankan history because of 74-year miss, a 74-year thief politicians. Right? They ruled the country with the army power, military forces, and misinformations or wrong informations. So these things, even today we are seeing a lot of activities and in people struggling or with right reasons. They says that they use the anti-terrorism rules or something like that, and they try to do very very bad things here. They are ominous and very disgusting. So yeah, that may be a reason for the stress and even economic collapses. That's a problem, and family working environment. Those things are external causes for the stress. And the second thing is the internal causes like worry, uncertainty, fear, attitudes, wrong attitudes, unrealistic expectations, like things. So these are the external causes which may arise. Um, and that, due to these reasons, the stress may occur in our mind. So other thing is that there are more varieties there are some varieties in stress. uh, First thing is that the eustress. See eustress, do you know about that? The manageable stress can lead to growth and enhance competence. So even though you are working in your working environment, you may have problems, stresses. So that's manageable stress, and it is good for all of us. So the second thing is a distress. It is uncontrollable and prolonged or the overwhelming stress. So it is destructive. So what you always should think about distress, not eustress. The distress is uncontrollable, prolonged, and even the overwhelming stress, it is destructive. So other thing is that the other variety is acute stress. It is immediate response to a threat or a challenge. Now you have the problems. You may face the immediate problem. You may face the threats, even the challenges. So after you face these threats and challenge, you may immediately respond. That is called acute stress. So other thing is that the other variety is chronic stress. So it's an ongoing exposure to stress may seem unrelenting. Ongoing exposure to stress may seem unrelenting. It's called a chronic stress. So then we want to discuss about Cannon's fight or flight model. So Cannon invented it is in 1932. The external threats elicited fight or flight response. Even that you may have facing the problems, the sudden economic collapse in Sri Lanka, we are facing very, very difficult, big difficulties in our country now. People have rights to show their struggles, but the government is not allowed it. So we can accept these things, right? And we can fight against it, that against the inter-university federations, or and even our working groups, Janata Vimukti Peramuna, and these important social activities are doing that things. So that is called fighting. And even you can fight as well. You can go abroad. You can go abroad, and you can uh, abandon from your country. So that is one thing. So you can fight. So even the same time you can fight. Not same time, but as an alternative, you can fight even the flight. Increased activity rate and increased arousal here. So stress is a response to external stresses. It's a psychological stress, maybe adaptive responses, and even prolonged stress could result in medical problems as well. Like you can fight against it, even or you can fight from the stressful conditions. So when you face the stress, stress response systems in our brain. So the hypothalamus may secrete CRH to pituitary gland. So it may be secrete ATCH, and it may act an adrenal gland, and it may secrete the cortisol. It is for the immune system. So the hypothalamus responds to the uh, level of control. Then so yeah, then stress may control by the cortisol and adenokinesis. So uh, the nervous system, there's a nervous signal from the nervous system, so it may transfer to the spinal cord, and spinal cord may secrete the response to adrenal medulla, and epinephrine and norepinephrine may secrete. So the adrenaline and norepinephrine may affect the short-term stress responses, like glucagon broken down into glucose and increase the blood glucose level, increase blood pressure, increase breathing rate, increased metabolic rate, and change in blood flow patterns leading to increase uh, alertness and decrease the digestive and kidney activity. So immediate response you make, and you can respond immediately because of these systems. So on the other hand, the hypothalamus may releasing the hormones, It's anterior pituitary to the anterior pituitary. Then through the blood vessels, this ACTH may transfer into adrenal cortex, and it secrete hormones like mineral cortisol, cortisoids, and glucocorticoids. So it's important for the long-term stress response. So mineral corti holds response to retention of sodium, ions, and water by the kidneys, and increases the blood volume and blood pressure. So glucocorticoids, proteins and fats broken down to the converted to the glucose, leading to increased glucose level, and immune system may be suppressed as the response to the stress conditions. So, Sally's general adaptation syndrome. So that is a syndrome. So, alarming in here, we can see the alarm. We meet and resist with the stress. That is called alarming. The second thing is a resistance, the coping and resistance to the stress conditions. And exhaustion is a coping exhausted. So those are the those are the things that we can discuss here. Then stages of the stress response. So general adaptation syndrome of Hans-Selig. That's it. Hans-Selig is 1907 to 1982. So there are a few stages in this stress response according to the general adaptation syndrome of Hans-Selig. So the first thing is that alarming. When one feels threatened, it's the activation of a fight and or fight mode. Right? So alarming means that when one feels threatened, so they activate of the fight or the flight reaction. The second thing is the resistance. And the resistance states the mobilization of resources to solve the problems. They mobilize the resources to solve the problem. So in here also continued stress causes adaptation. Continued stress causes adaptation in resistance stage. The third one is exhaustion. So adaptation fails and level of function decreases in exhaustion stage. The other thing is that life event theory. So it's called as a schedule of recent experience, 1176 invented. It's called in short form SRE. In here they discuss about life changes and the life events. In your life may be huge changes and or huge events and even the minor event as well. Among the huge events, we can see death of spouse, death of close family member, jail term, son or daughter leaving home, and pregnancy. These are huge changes or life events. It may arise a big stressful condition for in your life, and minor stress conditions as well, or minor life changes also can occur in your life, like vacation, change in eating habits, change in sleeping habits, and change in number of family get together. Right? So the role of transactional model. In this transactional model, we can find potential stresses and stress and coping. So these are the stages, they are interconnected with each other. Potential stressor, stress, and the coping. So the stressful potential stress, sir, is the primary appraisal is stressful or not, right? So the potential stresses may be turned into the stress. So you can cope up with the potential stress and as well the stress conditions as well. When you're coping with the potential stress or stressor or the stress, The secondary pressure. So, can I cope with this? So that is a problem. Can I cope with this, or cannot I cope with this? So, another important topic is self-control and the stress. So, self-efficacy, hardiness, and mastery. So these are the things we should discuss under this self-control and the stress. So the self-efficacy is an individual's feeling of confidence that they can perform a desired actions when they face stressful conditions. So the self-efficacy means that individuals' feelings of confidence that they can perform a desired action against the stressful conditions. The hardness is that the reflecting. Oh, what are the reflecting? The personal feelings or control. Sorry, the personal feelings of control or a desire to accept challenges or a commitment. Hardness reflecting personal feelings of control or a desire to accept challenges or commitment. The third thing is mastery, right? An individual's control over their stress response. The individual's control over their response. So then we move to talk about the stress signals. So what is stress signal and how stress signals influence stress? So these things we should discuss. You know, there are physical responses like ulcers, allergic reactions to the stressful conditions. There are different response. The first thing is a physical response. Ulcers, allergic reactions, high blood pressure, body pain, sleep disturbance, a stroke, migraine. So these things are the physical responses of stressful conditions. When you're facing stressful conditions, you can't breathe, sleep well. So many disturbance to your sleep, and heart stroke like things. It's a big trouble, ne? And the migraine, it's a very very big trouble. And when you're having a migraine, yeah, body pain sometimes, no problems in the body, but you feel pains, and blood pressure may increase, heart rate may increase, and even some allergic conditions and ulcers. So body inhibit related to stress, right? Body habits. There are lots of body habits related to stressful conditions like nervousness, muscle tension, headache, cold hands and feet, energy deficiency, nail bite. So these things, nail biting is a common character in some guys. And the nail biting is also the body habit related to the stress, nervousness, lot of problems. They are very nervous, very, very stressful conditions. He feel very annoying, right? And the muscle tension. Headache is a common character in a lot of diseases like stress as well, and cold hands and feet. Yeah. Then, yeah. So, the stress management is a very important key factor here, when you are facing the stressful conditions. I think your lifetime or the lifespan also may decrease because of, when you're having severe problems in nervousness, like things. It's a very big trouble. In Sri Lanka, we are facing lot of problems. The government terrorism, I mean state terrorism. So these things also we are facing today, but we have to calm down. We have to be patient. These problems have all of us. It's a country problem, so we all have to face, nothing to do with that. So don't think deeper. You may have problems, yeah. You may think about those things, because how to do that, no jobs, no, lot of problems, but nothing to do with it. You can do. So what you can do is that you have to get a wise decision when you are voting. So that is the problem solving methodology. Please believe this, keep believing this. And yeah, the thing is that thinking stress impact on our well-being, life energy withdrawn, uncertain thinking, and the irritability. The psychological impact of stress conditions. The first thing is that changes in sleep, eating, sexual desires, everything may change with the psychological impact. The increasement of using alcohol and the drugs. Yeah, when you're feeling headache, yeah, you may got the so many paracetamol and like drugs, yeah. But the problem is in in your mind, not your body. Mood swings, depression, and confusions. So behavioral changes like irregular behaviors, behavioral mistakes like things, loud speaking, speed speaking, and the poor sleep habits like things. So attend your stress signals. What is good for my body? So what puts strain my body and my soul balance? What boundaries I am having with? So those things we discuss. So workplace stresses like there are so many workplace stresses like yeah, we will discuss with you about the workplace stresses in the next episode. So thank you very much for joining with us, and we will discuss about a lot of things regarding this stress and how to manage the stress per condition. So that is very important in the adult psychology. And yeah, with the present conditions, not only in the Sri Lanka, but when you are living in the whole over the country, world, we are facing lots of troubles, lots of uncertainties, lots of painful conditions. Yeah, so the managing these stress conditions is very important, vital topic in the world. So keep subscribe us and share our videos with your colleagues as well. So thank you very much for joining with us.